Once upon a time, there was a group of people who embarked on a journey to find the secret to creating a truly great company. They studied thousands of companies, read countless books, and talked to experts from around the world. They discovered many things along the way, but the most important thing they learned was that greatness is not a matter of circumstance or luck, it is a matter of choice. Their journey led them to Jim Collins, a renowned researcher and author who had spent years studying the characteristics of great companies. He had identified a set of principles that separated the good from the truly great. These principles were based on years of research, analysis, and interviews with top business leaders. In his book, Good to Great, Jim Collins lays out the findings of his research and provides a roadmap for companies to achieve greatness. The book is a powerful tool for any business leader who wants to take their organization to the next level. It's not just about making more money or achieving fame and recognition. It's about creating something truly great that will stand the test of time. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on a journey of discovery. Join us as we explore the secrets of greatness and learn how to take your organization from good to great. We will talk about the 5 lessons from this book. Lesson 1: Level 5 Leadership. Jim Collins did a research study that analyzed the leadership styles of the CEOs of 11 companies that achieved sustained success over a 15-year period. The study found that level 5 leaders are essential to building great companies and that their leadership style can have a significant impact on the organization's culture and long-term success. In contrast, companies led by egocentric leaders who prioritize their own personal success over the company's goals are less likely to achieve sustained success. Jim Collins emphasizes the importance of having humble, yet determined leaders who prioritize the success of their companies over their own personal ambitions. Level 5 leaders are characterized by a unique blend of personal humility and professional will, which allows them to build strong, successful organizations. For example, Anne Mulcahy, the former CEO of Xerox, is known for her humility and down-to-earth nature. She never sought personal fame or attention and instead focused on building a strong and successful company. When she was named CEO of Xerox in 2001, the company was struggling and on the brink of bankruptcy. Through her leadership and determination, Mulcahy was able to turn the company around and achieve long-term success. One of the key characteristics of a level 5 leader is their ability to develop successors who can continue the company's success even after they've moved on. They focus on the long-term results. Collins argues that level 5 leaders understand that their own success is not as important as the long-term success of the company, and that they prioritize setting up their successors for success rather than holding on to power. They work to develop a strong leadership pipeline within the organization and are willing to step back and let others take the reins when the time is right. In contrast, egocentric leaders who are more concerned with their own personal success than the success of the company are more likely to hold on to power and resist developing successors. This can lead to a leadership vacuum when the egocentric leader inevitably leaves the company, and can make it more difficult for the organization to continue its success. For example, Tim Cook is the CEO of Apple, and under his leadership, the company has continued to focus on long-term success. Cook has overseen the development of new products and services, but he has also been committed to maintaining the company's focus on quality and innovation. Cook has also been committed to improving working conditions and environmental sustainability within Apple's supply chain, which demonstrates a long-term focus on corporate responsibility. Lesson 2: Focus on the who first, then the what. Jim Collins introduces the concept of getting the right people on the bus, which refers to the idea that great organizations are made up of great people who are aligned with the organization's goals and values. They focus on the who first, then the what. Getting the right people on the bus means hiring people who are a good fit for the organization's culture and values. For example, when Darwin Smith became the CEO of Kimberly-Clark, he realized that the company needed to change its culture in order to achieve sustained success. He started by getting the right people on the bus, by hiring leaders who were aligned with the company's values and committed to its long-term success. It's not just about hiring the best people, but also about making sure they are in the right positions. Getting the right people on the bus also means being willing to make tough decisions about who should stay and who should go. For example, Procter & Gamble. In the early 2000s, Procter & Gamble was struggling with declining sales and a lack of innovation. The company's CEO realized that Procter & Gamble needed to focus on hiring the right people and putting them in the right positions. He implemented a system of talent management that involved identifying high-potential employees and giving them opportunities to develop their skills and move up the ranks. As a result, Procter & Gamble was able to develop a strong bench of leaders who were committed to the company's long-term success. Here are some tips for building the right culture. 1. When in doubt, don't hire. Keep looking. 2. When you know you need to make a people change, act. 3. Put your best people on your biggest opportunities, not your biggest problems. 4. Create a culture of debate. Jim Collins emphasizes that team members should feel free to express their opinions and challenge one another in the search for the best possible answers to a problem, while at the same time, they should be committed to supporting the final decision, regardless of whether it aligns with their individual preferences or interests. Collins argues that a good-to-great management team has the following characteristics: a culture of intellectual honesty and rigorous debate, where team members feel free to express their opinions and challenge one another in the pursuit of the best possible solutions. A commitment to making decisions based on data and evidence, rather than personal biases or opinions. A willingness to set aside individual interests or agendas in favor of the common good of the organization. A clear and compelling vision of the future, which inspires and motivates team members to work together towards a shared goal. Lesson 3. Confronting harsh realities while maintaining an unwavering faith in the ability to overcome them. Jim said the moment a leader allows himself to become the primary reality people worry about, rather than reality being the primary reality, you have a recipe for mediocrity, or worse. This is one of the key reasons why less charismatic leaders often produce better long-term results than their more charismatic counterparts. How do you create a climate where the truth is heard? The book offers basic practices. 1. Lead with questions, not answers. 2. Engage in a dialogue and debate. Confronting the brutal facts is essential for achieving greatness. In order to improve, companies must be willing to face and acknowledge the harsh realities of their situation, rather than ignoring or denying them. Confronting the brutal facts requires a balance of realism and optimism. While it's important to be realistic about the challenges facing a company, it's also essential to maintain a sense of optimism and faith in the company's ability to overcome them. Creating a culture of openness and transparency is crucial for confronting the brutal facts. Companies must foster an environment where team members feel comfortable sharing their perspectives and ideas without fear of retribution or criticism. Taking responsibility for mistakes and failures is a key aspect of confronting the brutal facts. Leaders must be willing to take ownership of their mistakes and failures, and commit to learning and improvement. Companies that successfully confront the brutal facts are often able to reinvent themselves and emerge stronger. By facing their challenges head-on and developing realistic solutions, companies can transform their performance and achieve greatness. Collins shares the story of how Abbott Laboratories transformed itself from a struggling pharmaceutical company to a successful diversified healthcare company by confronting the brutal facts of its performance and investing in new product lines and acquisitions. Lesson 4. The Hedgehog Concept. The 3 circles. The Hedgehog Concept involves finding the intersection of 3 key factors: what you are deeply passionate about, what you can be the best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine. The example of Walgreens in the book illustrates this concept well. The company realized that its passion lay in providing convenient access to medication. It could be the best in the world at managing its retail drugstores, and the economic engine was based on a consistent, reliable cash flow from prescription drug sales. Companies that are able to identify and focus on their hedgehog concept are more likely to achieve long-term success than those that lack this focus. Circuit City, which failed to focus on its hedgehog concept, expanded into unrelated businesses, ignored its core business of selling electronics, and eventually went bankrupt. It's important for companies to continually evaluate and refine their hedgehog concept as the business landscape changes. Focusing on your hedgehog concept can help you make tough decisions about where to allocate resources and which opportunities to pursue. Companies that fail to identify and focus on their hedgehog concept can fall into the trap of pursuing growth for its own sake, which can lead to mediocrity or failure. The hedgehog concept is not a quick fix or a one-size-fits-all solution, but rather a framework for thinking about strategy and decision-making. Leaders who are able to articulate and communicate their company's Hedgehog Concept can inspire and motivate their teams to achieve great things. Lesson 5. Culture of Discipline. A culture of discipline is built through a combination of people and processes. Great companies have a strong sense of discipline that permeates every aspect of their operations. This is achieved through a combination of hiring the right people who are disciplined and implementing processes that support discipline. One example from the book is how Kimberly-Clark implemented a rigorous product development process that ensured each product was thoroughly researched and tested before being launched. Disciplined action requires an entrepreneurial spirit. While discipline may seem at odds with the creativity and risk-taking associated with entrepreneurship, great companies combine both traits to achieve success. These companies have a clear vision of what they want to achieve and take disciplined action to achieve their goals. One example from the book is how Intel combined disciplined planning and execution with an entrepreneurial mindset to become a leader in the computer industry. Jim said the creative magic begins to wane as some of the most innovative people leave, disgusted by the burgeoning bureaucracy and hierarchy. George Rathman, the former CEO of Amgen, avoided the bureaucracy problem by fostering a culture of discipline within the company. He believed that discipline and bureaucracy were two different things, and he worked hard to instill discipline without creating a bureaucratic environment. Rathman encouraged his employees to take risks and make decisions, but he also held them accountable for their actions. One of the key ways he avoided bureaucracy was by keeping the company small and nimble. He limited the number of employees and focused on hiring only the best people who were committed to the company's mission. He also implemented a rigorous hiring process that included multiple interviews and tests to ensure that candidates were the right fit for the company. Additionally, Rathman established a set of core values that were central to the company's culture, including a commitment to excellence, teamwork, and innovation. He encouraged employees to live these values in everything they did, and he made sure that the values were reflected in the company's policies and practices. A culture of discipline requires the right metrics. To achieve discipline, companies must have clear metrics in place that allow them to measure their performance against specific goals. These metrics should be aligned with the company's strategy and should be communicated clearly to all employees. Abbott Laboratories is an example of a company that used responsibility accounting as a way to drive accountability and performance. Responsibility accounting is a management control system that measures the performance of individual managers or departments against a set of predetermined performance targets. Abbott Laboratories implemented responsibility accounting in the early 1970s and used it to align the goals and objectives of each department with the overall strategic goals of the company. The company established clear performance metrics for each department, such as return on investment, sales growth, and expense control, and held managers accountable for meeting those metrics. One of the key benefits of responsibility accounting was that it helped to break down organizational silos and encourage collaboration between departments. By measuring performance based on the contributions of each department to the overall success of the company, Abbott Laboratories was able to promote a culture of teamwork and shared responsibility. Responsibility accounting also helped Abbott Laboratories to become more efficient and cost-effective. By tracking performance metrics closely, the company was able to identify areas where it was overspending and take corrective action. This focus on cost control and efficiency enabled Abbott Laboratories to maintain its profitability even during times of economic downturn. A culture of discipline allows companies to make difficult decisions. Great companies are not afraid to make difficult decisions, even if it means short-term pain for long-term gain. This requires a strong culture of discipline that allows companies to stay focused on their goals and make decisions that support their overall strategy. Great companies are consistent in their approach to achieving their goals and rigorously adhere to their processes and systems. This requires a strong commitment to discipline at all levels of the organization, from the CEO down to frontline employees. Jim said the good to great companies built a consistent system with clear constraints, but they also gave people freedom and responsibility within the framework of that system. They hired self-disciplined people who didn't need to be managed, and then managed the system, not the people. This order is important. The comparison companies often tried to jump right to disciplined action, but disciplined action without self-disciplined people is impossible to sustain, and disciplined action without disciplined thought is a recipe for disaster. The right order is disciplined people. then disciplined thought, then disciplined action. In conclusion, Good to Great is not just a book, it's a roadmap for creating a truly great organization. Jim Collins and his team of researchers have identified the key principles and characteristics that separate the good from the truly great, from level 5 leadership to the importance of a culture of discipline. The lessons learned from this book can be applied to any organization, whether it's a small startup or a large multinational corporation. By focusing on the right people, creating a culture of discipline, and staying true to your core values, you too can take your organization from good to great. So, whether you're a CEO, a manager, or an employee, I encourage you to read Good to Great and apply its principles to your own organization. By doing so, you will not only create a more successful business, but you will also make a lasting impact on the world. Thank you for watching this summary of Good to Great. If you found this video informative and helpful, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel for more content like this. Your support means everything to us and helps us to create more videos to help you on your journey to success. Also, if you have any thoughts, comments, or questions about the book or the video, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you and engage in a meaningful discussion about how to take organizations from good to great.